Welcome back, boys and girls. I'll pitch it up a little bit high today. I do realize I've been experimenting with the editing software, and so one of the things I've been fixing is the audio, but it's a little jacked up. So I've been putting a compressor on it, and you can hear me breathe a little too much. I don't like to hear anyone breathe either. Today we're going to review one I just found in the corner of my humidor place, my smoke shop, and it's a Corojo number 5. Apologize if I'm saying that. Probably Corojo number 5 Gran Habano. And because I've been running these filters, you can see that I'm dropping the cigar label nice and clear up there so you guys can see it. The construction on this, just from the onset, is just beautiful. It's a pretty thick gauge, so it's about a 50, probably about a 58 plus. Don't think it's quite a 60. Has a little foot band on it, which is kind of cool. Sort of like a Chinese color set. Doesn't really say much about it. I'll have to look it up. It's just one of those weird purchases. I just saw it, and I was a kidney candy shop, so I got it. It's funny. The seams across the center here are just a little bit loose. I could see this thing splitting just a little bit. So let's see what happens here. I'm just going to slide the band off. Came off beautifully. The tip, immaculate. So, and it was in a box that was actually fairly empty. So someone's been picking these things up and smoking them. And they're $7.22, which means it's probably $5 anywhere else. I'm going to give it a good V-cut. Now, this gauge is so big that my V-cutter kind of struggles here. So let's see what happens. Yeah, I just kind of glazed it. I'm going to come back the opposite direction here. There we go. Perfect. So let's do a couple cuts if you have a big gauge. This is definitely a 58 if my my cutter here can't do it. Let's see how this goes. I can tell you right off the bat, I haven't had a gauge like this in a while. That's what she said. Oh. Wow, the draw is like super effortless. I haven't had a draw like that in a long time. At least a resistance level with that lightness in quite a while. I can't remember if this is indicative of a 58 gauge or not. The caps, let's see, it's double cap. Nicely put together, I'm telling you. So far, so good. And the aroma on the it's lit now, but it just tastes like almost like the classic. What I'm smelling right now is almost a classic tobacco flavor. And when I say classic, the old guys used to smoke back when I was in the 70s as a little kid. That's what it smells like to me. Like the foot smoke smells like that. The foot smoke is actually fairly nice. Look at that. Wow, this is nice. This is smooth. I might be a little fan of this one here. Well, the tobacco flavor right away is that good kind. You know, that really non-tarry, beautiful, light tobacco. And what's amazing, when someone says a cigar tastes like tobacco, it's like, well, duh, dude. The thing's made of tobacco. But the nice, wonderful thing about cigars is that there's all kinds of flavors of tobacco, right? And this one, if you just need to know, it's like a smooth, I guess, I'm going to say creamy tobacco. And that doesn't mean I'm tasting cream from milk. It just means that it's very soft, you know? The finishing taste is very quick. It's already gone. So let's, but I haven't been really drawn on this too much. Let me stop yapping and get going. That foot smoke is gigantic. Yeah, the finishing taste is ever so slight. It's mild, but very nice. Getting a slight hint of pepper on my upper lip. on the inside of my upper lip. It's a little odd. I was trying to think here. I would say the body right now is very low, and that's fine. It's actually getting warm out here when I take this jacket off. Try the Retro Hill. So far, just a beautiful classic cigar flavor. Again, it's not that oily, tarry cigar tobacco flavor. It's actually, at least in this first couple millimeters of the ash, it's very nicely light. So I'm extremely happy with this so far. And, we have had sticks that started off good and end bad. I don't think that's going to be this stick at all. So the thing is, I can potentially taste the pepper ramping up just a little bit. I have a hard time believing this is going to be a pepper bomb on any level. Usually pepper bombs are pretty pronounced pretty quickly, but that could change. But so far, just a real mild stick, really nice. And the tobacco, I don't know, the wrapper is just sort of a, and now I understand. The wrapper is like a chocolate wrapper, like a milk chocolate wrapper. Now, that doesn't mean that there's any chocolate in this taste. It just means if I were to give you the color brown that the wrapper is, I'm going to liken it to like a very light milk chocolate. But so far, so good. All right, I'll come back in a little while and tell you how it went. Okay, so now we're deep inside the, I guess we're we're deep inside the first third. We're about to approach the second third. Extremely consistent cigar. The smoke is just outrageous. It's amazing. It's a fairly monotone smoke. I'm not really tasting tremendous transitions in it. But let's see here. Tiniest hint of leather, most tobacco, no pepper whatsoever, which is a good thing. I'll just say that this is sort of maybe quality-wise. It's obviously it's a thicker gauge, and it's slightly a step up from. And I don't mean to insult this by any means, but the JM cigars I've been reviewing that have great foot smoke and just a solid tobacco flavor. This is sort of a step up from that, sort of between maybe a $10 cigar and the $2.50, $2.75 cigar. So it is really a $7 cigar in terms of our 1-to-10 ratio here. But just, it's uneventful, but the pull is still just as effortless as possible. And again, just this foot smoke smells fantastic. The taste is very consistent. So far, we're talking about a sort of a low body cigar in terms of its multiple flavors. You just really get a really good tobacco flavor out of this. But I'm telling you, it's a very, very pleasant experience here. I don't know. Outside of the tobacco, if there's anything else added to it, it is so subtle I can't put a finger on it. I'm not getting a bunch of leather, and I'm not getting any savory tastes. But again, it's not a bad thing. It's actually working really, really well for my buck. So anyway, I'll keep going, and we'll see in the last third here. Ooh, baby. So this thing has been extremely consistent. I'm well within the second third, and I'm probably several minutes from getting down into the final third. But I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to be the same exact flavor because there hasn't been any transitions. A couple things about this stick I just want to put out there is sort of the closing button on this thing. Construction's fantastic. It's definitely firmly packed. Again, I haven't had this in my humidor for a long time, but I know it's been at the smoke shop humidor for quite a while, and he keeps that thing beautifully moisturized. So the concerns I had about the wrapper being a little loose in some of the seams, completely an illusion. Nothing happened. There hasn't been a single peel on this thing. I'm thinking that the one vein that I can see here is just part of the natural leaf. It wasn't actually a seam. It was a vein, and it was just really nicely pronounced. But there is a seam on one of these that is just holding together beautifully. So not a single leaf peeled away on this thing. But the other thing is it's a long filler. So I'm an hour in, and I still have a good 3 inches left on this thing. The ashes are falling off about every half an inch, which is fine. Sort of typical of like a 58 ring gauge. And I don't know why that is. I just think it may be, I don't necessarily think it's the weight. And I know some of you guys can get every ash to stick on forever. And again, I think holding it straight up like this will let you stack that ash really well. It's not terribly important to me that the ash stay on as long as the cigar stays lit. I've never had to relight this. I've had to touch it up a couple times. The burn isn't quite razor sharp, but what I think is interesting is you'll see this little bump on the side here, or maybe you can't with the filter, but there's a seam that runs right up, a vein that runs right up to that point. So it's the stronger part of the leaf that's burning a little bit slower because it's sort of I think it's the center part of the leaf that goes straight down the middle. And so that backbone, of the tobacco leaf is burning a little slower. So no big deal. The taste, let's just verify here. It's chewy smoke. I don't know how to say it. It's just chewy, super thick, beautiful smoke. The strength is 0. It's so you can. I mean, I haven't smoked it all the way down to the nub, so I'm imagining by, right where the band usually is where the strength starts to hit you. But if this thing doubled in strength, I might have a low to medium strength stick. Not a big deal. I probably smoke a little bit more than most people, but I don't think my tolerance is at any massive scale. It's just a beautiful tobacco smoke. It's light. It's got a savoriness to it. It is like a chewy tobacco smoke where, again, when you eat savory food, a salty food, your mouth tends to think chew, 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 because it's something, you're eating a steak, you're eating some chicken or something, right? This is sort of like a lightly salted meat in terms of its tobacco echo. The finishing taste is pretty quick, probably like 5 to 10 seconds, and you're ready for another puff. But it's just exuding smoke off the end of this thing. So you're going to be really, really happy if you like smoke. I got this for $7.22 from my smoke shop, which is just a tad more expensive than others because it's in a prime real estate location. So I'm thinking online, I don't know, probably get these for $3 or so. But definitely a really, really decent smoke here. Sorry about the shadow on my face. Hopefully I can lift this out with the filter. And that's it. This is the Corojo number 5, Gran Habano. The information will be in the description on what exactly this is. Just look at the title. I'll put the picture in there so you can actually see what this thing looks like on the label, just in case you're trying to find it again. But again, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed. This will be another one of those short reviews. Again, from time to time when I have something to chew off for a few hours, I'll actually talk all the way through it. Otherwise, my deep thought lectures over at mkulturaradio.com. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next cigar review. Over and out.